That's right, guys. The best buy signals are scary as hell. And the reason why is behind me on this chart. The reason why is because they come at a time where you don't expect that it will be a good buy signal, right? And so you will see why automation is super cool later on. But first you need to understand that the best buy signals come when it is super, super scary and where you would not buy, right? You would not feel like it's a good idea to buy, right? So even if you have a strategy that tells you, hey, this is a buy signal, let's make it happen, right? You will not feel confident to go there and put a lot of money, right? Because you feel weird. Like you read Twitter, you watch YouTube, everyone is bearish. But if there is a strategy, and think of the strategy as an AI, right? Being smart about things. And it tells you that there's a higher probability that here is a good time to buy. Then why the hell is it not smart to follow it instead following your own emotions? And emotions never make money. They never made money ever, okay? So you see what I mean? Now, the buy signals that really matter, right, are not the ones that come here or here. It's late, right? Who cares? The buy signals that really matter are very scary, right? Because they come at a time after massive crashes, after long consolidations. I call them the boring zone because people opt out and they fully forget about crypto, right? And then they're super surprised that it went up and they buy here. Because, right, it like they want to be part of the action, but it's late. Like, how much money can you still make? Not much, right? So if you miss out the scary times, which can turn into opportunities, then you are increasing your risk and you're reducing your profits, right? So if I buy here, the risk is lower because how much lower can it go? But only when I have numbers and strategies to tell me that this is a good time to buy. I'm not gonna just buy. Like here, I could have maybe potentially bought, but there was no buy signal because it's not time to buy, right? So there are times when it looks like a consolidation, right? It looks interesting, but it's not yet the time to buy, right? And so that's why you need a strategy to help you with that. And I will show you a strategy later on you can use, well, later on in this video that you can use for free. You can put on a chart and automate, okay? But first you need to understand the idea of buying at a nice time. And I'm not saying buying every day, every month. You see, my channel is different, right? What I care about is building long-term wealth, okay? And for that, you need the right type of strategy. And I use a trend following strategy because it's slow enough to not get faked in or faked out too fast, but fast enough to avoid the massive downturn, but also get back in when there is a nice recovery, right? And so this consolidation and boring times, and I say boring because, well, the technical term is of course consolidation, right? Or bottom formation, but it is boring because that's how it feels, right? It feels like there's nothing to see, right? We go other direction, we look at other things, we lose interest, right? And that's exactly the time when the market will surprise you, and often to the upside, right? So if you can see here, those boring times, and I want to keep this video short, by the way, because I usually talk for a long time. I have a lot to say, right? That's why subscribe. But the thing is, I want to keep it short because it's so obvious for me, right? I hope it's obvious for you as well. If you buy anywhere here, you will make money, right? But if you miss out because you stopped looking, right, and you come here or here, you might make some money, but it's not a lot and you will not be happy. So you're not gonna sell when you should be selling because you expect more. So you hold on, right? And or you buy more, right? You hold on, and then you sell somewhere here or here because obviously most people sold there because those were the most volumes. I don't have the volume now, but it's the most volumes, right? And so this is what happens. And if it happened to you, then let me know in the comments, right? So the thing is that you need to detect these red zones that matter. And the way to do that, you have a couple of options to do that, right? Actually two only, right? One option is you learn to read the chart and you watch the chart every day, right? Because you need to detect if something changed to make a decision to buy or not buy, right? Or you don't have time to do that and you have too many emotions and you don't want to do it basically, then you have to automate, right? That's why my channel is called Michael Automates, okay? And by the way, subscribe and like the video, yeah? Yeah, so the whole point of this is that you understand when theoretically is a good time to buy And you see, I zoom out a lot, right? For me, it's not important what happens on a daily basis, right? For me, it's basically important what happens on a longer period, right? So I care about trends, okay? So if you have a trend like this, right, I want to take advantage of it. I want to buy here and I want to sell here, and in the middle, in between, I want to fully forget about it. Of course, I'm happy, right, that it goes up, but I'm not involved. I don't need to be involved because it goes up. Like, what else can I do, right? Like, I'm happy, right? But then I sell, and from here to here, I want to forget about it completely, right? Because what do I care? Because it crashes anyway. Like, I don't, nothing to see here, mate. Like, I can do other things, right? And the problem though is, of course, when would I go back, right? If I don't have a signal or something to remind me that I have to go back, right? And that's why I have this particular strategy. This is one of my strategies that I use personally. These are the numbers, by the way, if you care. I have made great profits with this. And so this is from 2018. That's why it starts analyzing here, right? But the first trade was down there because before that, there was no opportunity to buy, right? Okay, those are the numbers. We will see. Maybe I show you other charts as well from other assets. But the idea is the same, right? You have to detect when it's interesting, right? So if it goes up here out of this boring zone and other things align, then it might be a good idea to buy. But if it goes further down, you can keep ignoring it, right? There's nothing to see here, right? And so if you actually sum up what I just said, then you will realize that most of the time I ignore the asset completely. I don't, like, most of the time, I don't care what's happening. What I really care about is these times here. Those are the times that I mega care about because they might be opportunities to buy or possibilities to just still continue staying out of the market because there is no chance to go up, right? Like here, there's no time to buy, no time to buy, right? But here again, I care, right? So these are a couple of months, right? Usually they're 2 months. This was 8 months, which is not fun. Actually, this was painful, right? But anyway, those are the times to pay attention, right? To not forget about the asset. Yes, 8 months looking at it, it's a pain. At some point, I also forgot about it. But, remember, I do automation, so I don't really need to look, yeah? But the idea is uptrend, whatever, I'm invested, I'm happy. Downtrend, I'm out, whatever, I'm happy, right? But the consolidation times, the boring times, that's what really matters. And I believe maybe potentially where we are now, it could form such a boring zone, and it could be 2 months, which usually it is, right? So you have like 60 days. It's basically here, like 8th of May, right? I mean, I'm not predicting I'm just saying roughly, right? And if that's the case, I can now go about my life and I can do other things, right? I can train, I can go with my wife to Italy, which we're exactly going to do anyway. I can improve my skills of video making, or I can improve my business. I can start a business. I can do whatever I like because there is no opportunity, right? Nothing to do here, mate, okay? As you can see, I'm even fully out of Bitcoin. I'm fully with this strategy. I have one strategy that is invested 10% of my portfolio, but this strategy, which has most of my money, is not invested. It's sold here and that's it. There's nothing to see here. So I can ignore it. And that's also if you are a subscriber of this channel, right? Thank you, by the way. Awesome. Happy to have you. You're amazing. You have seen that I didn't post a video for a little bit. The market didn't really give an opportunity. I mean, like, just imagine, right? Since the sell signal, there was nothing to see here. And that was sometime on 3rd of February, right? And since then, there was nothing interesting, okay? Yeah, there was a pump, but not a buy signal, whatever, right? And so I used the time, if you care, right? I use the time to settle my things in Dubai. I move here, right? I have some administrative things to do, some tax stuff, obviously, right? Do some paperwork for my business, for my personal life, my wife. Oh my God, right? A lot of stuff. And it's actually quite stressful. And I was happy that I don't have to look at the chart. I have huge money allocated, right? But it's taken care of by the strategies, right? So I can go and take care of my life. Yes, I felt a bit guilty that I didn't do videos, but then what do I talk about? There's nothing to say, right? And so my life is very different with this automation, or since I have it, right? I can do other things because most of the time there is nothing to see, right? And that's why I'm making a video, yes? Now is the time to pay attention, right? Because we have a red zone, which I believe could be a red zone, right? So even if I don't pay attention, remember, I have automation to do it for me, right? But of course I care, it's interesting. Personally, I care. If you don't care, you can just automate and forget about it. But those are the most important times. So you have in like 7 years, a bit more than 7 years, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, funny enough, in 7 years, you have 7 such zones where a couple of months of your life, you should be paying attention or you should be automating, right? So it does it for you. So you can do other things. So if you do that, then you never really, never really have to look at it as a bit extreme, right? Like look at it, right? Once a month or something, but you don't have to babysit it, right? And that brings me to the next thing, okay? If you have automation, okay, you know how it works, you have a strategy that you can use, which I will give you in this video, then you can build a portfolio of multiple assets. Usually you will build a portfolio of assets that are from different sections, right? Categories. So you will build one from made in USA, right? AI, real world assets, gaming, Bitcoin, I guess. I don't know. I'm not financial advice, just ideas, right? And so you will have maybe 20, 50. I have people that have 200 assets. Guys, I don't know how you do it, but if you have every single asset fully automated, right, with the amount of money it should be using and the strategy, and it's automatically sending the trading signal to your exchange through a software called Signum, which I will show you. It's my software. It makes it easy. You can actually have more assets, a lot of babies, right? A lot of, bets, but you don't have to babysit them because it's automatically taken care of. So it gives you a higher chance because you're playing a broader market, but then it doesn't add more work. It adds one-time work because you need to automate the asset, but then it's automatic, right? So you're basically putting effort, but then getting huge value because it's not only automatic, it saves a lot of time. You can do other things like build a business or go on vacation, whatever, but also it protects your portfolio from the downside and it gets you back in so you don't miss out and you buy late. You buy late, you increase your risk and you make less money. Yeah. And because I just said that, let me remind you that everything about trading is about managing risk reward. It's a ratio, right? So if you increase risk, you must increase reward as well because it doesn't make sense otherwise, right? If you have more risk, you must have more reward. And so if you increase risk because you buy late, and you don't increase your reward because you buy late, right? So the trend is almost over. It's not smart, mate. Like it's just not a mathematically logical thing to do, right? So if you think about it, if people don't buy at the right time, somewhere here with a good strategy, right? You see there is a buy signal, right? Instead they buy here or here or here, then the reward that is left for them on the chart, the reward will be from here to here, from here to here, from here to here, less and less and less and less, right? So they're increasing the risk that it's over, but the reward is not increasing in the same amount. So it's not smart, okay? So that's why it's so important to detect when is the pivot point, right? Where the market wants to turn either around to the upside and has strength, or it wants to crash more. If it wants to crash more, cool, I go back to the beach or whatever you like doing, right? I like building businesses. I like helping people, right? That's where I really want to put my time and not really in trading. It's boring, mate, okay? And so also it doesn't really help people. Like if I trade all day, then how do I improve the world, right? I don't add any value if I trade for myself, right? Actually, I extract value from other people. Oh, not good, right? That's how it works. But if you want to add value, you need to build a business. You need to share knowledge. You need to do something, mate, right? So I realized that if I have a strategy that detects these times when it is time to pay attention, right? And it does it automatically, I can use that time to educate you. That's what I do, right? I educate you on YouTube. I have I even have a freaking education program that I put a lot of time into making. I will show you later about whatever. And that's more value that I can add to the world instead of looking at the chart every day and not having any time to do any useful things, right? So I'm building a business, I'm hiring people, right? I'm paying for their health insurance, I'm paying salaries, they're happy, right? We have an office. It's great. That's value, right? For people and hopefully for me as well, right? But trading is not value. Trading is extraction of value. So imagine you can automate finding these nice buy signals at the right time. And yes, it's scary as hell, right? Because whenever you're going to have a buy signal, for example, here, you're going to feel like, oh my God, why would I buy here? Everything is screwed. Nothing is happening. We had a huge dump here. Oh my God, right? Yeah, I know. It's going to feel horrible. Okay. That's why the title of this video is that the best buy signals are scary, because they are. Okay. So the higher you go in the price chart, the more obvious it is that you should buy. But then it's not a good risk reward anymore, right? Because everyone knows, right? There is no delta, right, in knowledge. And so I hope you understand, right? So now that's the theory, that's the strategy. By the way, this is my strategy. It works great on a lot of assets. It's part of my course. You don't need it, okay? Because I will show you a strategy that you can use for free that does pretty much the same thing. So I will delete all the squiggles and I will start I will put on the chart the free strategy is called Gaussian channel. If you already know the Gaussian channel, cool, right? If you are new and for you this is a new strategy, cool. Continue watching, great. And this is a strategy I created so that everybody can actually do what I just said fully automatically and take advantage, okay? Actually, it's one of the best strategies that you can find for free, okay? So, I mean, go and do your research. And I think it's a good one to get started with, okay? Of course, you can go way deeper into this. You can build your own strategy even. Ooh, I will link a video up here. Let me put it like this. I will link a video up here where you can actually build your own strategy with AI, using AI, okay? And if you don't want to do that work initially, you want to go and start with the strategy that works, you can take this one. It's called Gaussian Channel Strategy V3, right? And these are the numbers. You can compare them with my numbers from before. Yes, it's a bit less profit, but still very good actually. And if you zoom in, you can see that it takes advantage, it takes advantage of all of these boring breakouts, right? So it is, and scary is all, like this is scary, right? So this is a scary buy signal, honestly, and it took advantage of it very nicely, perfect, right? This is actually also a scary one because it comes out of COVID, right? And then buying here, it's a bit weird. And here, you know, there were some trades which didn't really yield anything, plus minus zero. But then it bought here. If I zoom in way more, you see it bought here, right? And then it sold here. I mean, does it get much better than that, right? And it made huge profits. I'll tell you roughly, it made 385% profit, right? It's nice. And then you had another opportunity to make some money here, but it's not a lot. It's not a really good move. This was very strange. This was a profitable one, but okay, not a lot, fine. Like the money was made here, right? And then the money was protected by not losing in these massive downturns. And even if you see some tiny losing trades here, they're very tiny losing, right? Like it's not a lot of money. This is tiny, tiny, tiny. So yes, it lost some money on the way down, but it protected huge amounts of value created before that, right? And then again, because I want to talk to you about the consolidation breakouts. And so this was scary as hell. FTX collapse, exchange goes bankrupt. Oh my God, right? And then buying with, especially putting huge money into this trade was very hard, right? Emotionally, after 63 days of this massive drop where the strategy protected you pretty nicely from a drop of 22%, buying here, I mean, if you didn't like experience it, you might not believe what I'm saying, but buying there was very, very hard, okay? Logging into the exchange, buy button, right? How much money would you put, right? Would you put a lot of money? Maybe not, right? I mean, you wouldn't even trust any exchange, to be honest, because one of them went bankrupt. You wouldn't do anything, okay? You wouldn't even touch Binance. You wouldn't even touch anything because you were afraid that they're not gonna be able to give you back your funds if you withdraw, right? So buying here was awesome, but if you don't automate it, it's very hard to do. And yes, I understand you would have had to do it maybe on chain if you don't trust any exchange. Understand. Over time, first of all, you can trade on chain anyway, and we have on chain automation coming very soon in a week or maximum 2, right? But also exchanges become more and more stable, right? Because the whole industry stabilizes. So it is more realistic in this bull market or in the next bear market is way more realistic that you are anyway on the exchange when this happens and you can buy, right? But manually buying this is super hard, right? Anyway, strategy did it nicely, all great. Here, strategy also took advantage of this boring breakout, right? This was actually a boring one. This was not scary because it wasn't after some catastrophic event. This was also nice, made money here, it's great, bought here, sold here. This was boring, became a little bit scary here, right? But it's mostly boring. And those were a couple of losing trades. Not great, but 8 months of sideways. Yeah, no strategy can survive that. And so it lost some of the profits there, but still it's in profit. And then here was a nice trade. Here were a couple of losing trades and then protecting from this drop. And now, again, same thing as I said before, there is no reason to look at the chart even. I mean, it's so far away from a buy signal, right? Like if you look at this, the buy signal can only come when the price breaks above the upper line of this particular strategy. And if you just look where the price is now and where the upper line is, it's far away, okay? Like I said, when it goes down, I go and do other things. There's no reason to look at this, okay? I mean, I'm not using this particular strategy, but even my strategy is out, okay? I mean, let me go back and show you. My strategy is actually fully out since here, right? And so like, why would I waste my time? So like I said, I used all of this time to settle down in Dubai, figure this stuff out with my wife, when to move, how to do tax topics. I have to pay huge money. I mean, at least for me, it's huge money, right? Okay, it's not funny, but it is what it is, right? So that's what I really focused on, right? Because I was able to focus, right? And so there was no reason to make a video or anything, because I mean, I made one video somewhere here, but nothing happened. Okay, nothing to say, mate. Like, if there are some people on the internet who love to make a video about nothing every day, and you are also, by the way, it's funny when you watch channels, I really respect these people, right? But I want freedom. Okay, I really care about freedom. Okay, so when I automate, I take advantage of all of these zones that I told you, right? I take advantage of selling to protect my profits. Okay, but I also gain freedom because I can go and do whatever I like, right? And the more money you have to play this game with, the more freedom you can have. And so if I don't have anything to say, right, then there is no point in making a video. I don't need it, right? So when I make a video, it matters. Okay, so make sure to click the bell here, right? Like, subscribe, click the bell, click on all, because it is like, I'm not the guy who shouts every day, oh my God, it moved 5%, or not even like 2%. Who cares, mate? Okay, what really matters are the really super important buy zones that you cannot miss out on, right? And so is this a zone? I don't know, maybe. It looks like it could form, right? And this would be something like this. It looks very similar to me. We'll see. Maybe it turns out. But I don't have to look at it every day. It will just happen, okay? And so, again, if you want to take advantage of this, then I recommend you watch the next video I will put after this one, which will show you the Gaussian channel strategy, which is free to use, how to automate it step by step, okay? And then you can check it out. If it's for you, cool. If not, that's fine, right? But at least you educate yourself about what is possible, and then you can make your decisions how to play the market, okay? And so one more thing before we go, I do have a course. It's called AutoTrading VIP. I will put it here on top. And this is for people who have a larger portfolios, meaning they have more than $25,000. And this is important limit because what I do, which is long-term wealth creation and protection with the trading strategies that get in at the right time, get out at the right time, fully automatic. There's more to learn, right? Like, if you have more money, then you want more knowledge to protect your portfolio even better, right? So to make more money, but to protect it also, because let's say you have 100K, 200K, 500K invested in this automation, you don't really fancy losing that money, right? So you need the best possible strategies and portfolio creation methods, risk calculations. And so that's why I have the course, right? So you need it when you need it. If you don't need it, ignore it. It's perfect, right? And also, if you want to get in even deeper into the automation topic without course or whatever, I have a playlist, which is, I usually say it's a game changer, but it's actually a life changer, right? Because it gives you your life back, right? Instead of, trading and wasting your time, you can automate much better. There are so many things to learn. I will link the playlist up here. You can watch it whenever you like, and then you can decide if it's for you or not, right? If you need help, we have a Telegram group. We have 6 moderators in different time zones. There's always somebody to help you. It's a very cool group, honestly. No trading signals, just help with automation strategies, right? Understanding concepts, very cool, very high quality one. And with all of that, if you want to learn how to automate the Gaussian channel strategy, then this is the next video you should watch.
It's trading.